It was a huge mistake to have the US become a host of the World Cup, and for several reasons. But of course, the most obvious one is what is going on or what went on with Omar Abdulkadir Artan, who is a referee verified and certified by FIFA to go and participate in the World Cup. And I understand that he's the first ever Somali to be a referee at the World Cup. Now, the Americans seems to have needs that don't align with the spirit of the World Cup. The World Cup is such a huge event globally, and there are people who save for decades even just so that they can attend a World Cup. But the US has its own needs, of course, and the needs it has is to control the people who visit that country. The process of even getting a visa, of course, to go to the US is such a nightmare for most people, at least, especially for the people who come from the third world. And if a referee who is certified by FIFA and officially there is every way to prove that he was supposed to officiate the World Cup is denied entry, what happens to thousands of people who would want to travel from around the world to go and watch matches? What happens to those people? It means there are so many people who've been denied entry to go watch FIFA World Cup. And I think this is a very good reason that makes the US a terrible choice for a host of the World Cup. If World Cup was just Mexico, as Mexico is another host, if it was just Mexico, we will not have issues, and I don't think there have been any issues about Mexico hosting the World Cup. People don't have as much difficulty going to Mexico. Yeah, and it's not just the referee who ran into issues. There have been issues with national team of Iran. They've been treated so badly. In fact, there are stories that they were told that for the matches that they were going to play within the United States, they were to come there that same day and leave. Even if there were issues going on between the countries or between the nations, US and Iran, it goes against the spirit of the World Cup to do that, because what does that do to the players? Imagine traveling maybe even if it's 2 hours or 3 hours to go to the pitch directly to play and then go back. And maybe the next match is also happening in the US, then you have to travel again. That is not fair. It does not matter what was going on or what is going on. Number two, besides the US having this need to control, or to maybe they are justified. I'm not an American, so I won't say that they are not justified to try to limit the people who can go to their country. All I'm saying is that because of those needs that they have, FIFA made a huge mistake to grant them this privilege of hosting the World Cup. It wasn't supposed to be. They should have even let the FIFA know that, or they should not even have presented themselves as candidates to be hosts, knowing that they are going to be very, very strict in terms of who is coming to watch the World Cup. Now, the second reason why they are a terrible host for the World Cup, and I think this also contributes to what I've just talked about, is that the Americans are not really into football, or soccer as they call it. It's not their thing. They have their football that they really enjoy and they are passionate about. Soccer is not their thing. The average American doesn't even care really about soccer. So giving them the privilege of hosting the World Cup, they don't even comprehend, at least most of them. Of course, I'm not saying that all Americans don't follow soccer closely as they call it, but generally speaking, they don't even comprehend how important that tournament is to the rest of the world. And they can't even comprehend that actually there are people around the world who can save for even a decade, saving for a decade, that at one time I'll have the ability to go and watch the World Cup at the pitch. And then that time comes, the process of even getting the visa becomes so difficult that they don't even go through. And even when they might get the visa, they might just spend a lot of money, reach there, and then they are turned back. That's very unfortunate. So I think it was a mistake to have the US host the World Cup for those two reasons. So they should have just let it be maybe Mexico. Could have been Mexico. Mexico would have been great to be the sole host of the World Cup. And I don't think Mexico will have or has any issues with people really going there. I don't think it's so difficult to get a visa to go to Mexico and watch the World Cup and stay there for the season. I don't think Mexico has really a need to fear that people are not going to go back after they watch the World Cup. So I think Mexico is perfect, and also Mexico is a Mexican are huge fans of football, anyways, or soccer, and it has not never been an issue when it is in any other country hosting the World Cup. Not really, but when of course is the US, and sometimes let's be frank, Europe also can have those issues that when they host the World Cup, the rest of the world have to really try very, very hard to go and watch football in those countries, which is very, very unfortunate. The spirit of the World Cup is people have fun. Sometimes it's the experience of lifetime for some people. If they've managed to put their money together, they are like, this is the time that I'm going to watch the World Cup. Some people were like, 2026 is the year that I'm going to watch World Cup, but that was maybe 2010, and they started putting money together for that. Then come 2026, number one, they struggle to get the visa, and even when they get the visa, they arrive at the airport and they are told, you know what, you're not welcome here. Yeah, we can acknowledge the America's need or the US need to protect their borders, and the immigration is their right. But I think we can blame FIFA and anybody or those who participated in the process of granting them that privilege of hosting the World Cup. And maybe we can blame the US itself for presenting themselves to be potential hosts of the World Cup, knowing very well that they were going to mess up the spirit of the World Cup. So it's very unfortunate what has happened to Omar Abdulkadir Artan. I understand very many people are not happy. In fact, I think it's UEFA or somebody that has said they are going to have him officiate some of the matches, I think, in Europe. I think it's very unfortunate what happened to him. And it was a matter of maybe if they needed to just talk to FIFA and they will be like, yeah, that guy is officially recognized or is officially nominated or appointed, whatever the term that applies, to come and officiate at the World Cup. But they could not do that. They were like, no, we're not letting you in. Terrible decision actually to have the US host the World Cup. Hopefully it does not happen again. Hopefully people learn from this, and next time it puts itself or it presents itself to be the host, everybody else will be like, no, the previous the experience in the last World Cup that they hosted was so horrible, and it's already horrible, and it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be corrected going forward, because there are so many people who would have wanted to go and watch football at the pitch, but many people even gave up before they tried because they knew that's the US. I can't make it. I'm going to pay fees for the visa and I don't get it. And sometimes I arrive at the airport and they turn me away. So there is no need to try even. So, yeah, I think this World Cup is basically ruined. And then we look forward for the next one. Those are my random thoughts.